from the twists and turns of Detroit and Montreal, the Grand Prix scene moves back to Europe, to the fast, flat and curvy 2.6-mile circuit amongst the sand dunes of Zandvoort by the Sea for round 9 of the 16-round World Championship. Over halfway through the series then, and Zandvoort's a place where the powerful turbo cars can really use their horsepower. So it's no surprise that 6 of the fastest qualifiers in practice are turbos. Arnoux Renault in pole position yet again, 5 seconds faster than his own 1980 lap record, with a scorching lap at 130 miles an hour. With Prost second fastest, Piquet third in his Brabham BMW, Pironi's Ferrari fourth, Tambay having his first drive for Ferrari sixth, and fifth place man, Niki Lauda's McLaren, the only 3-litre car in the top 6 on the grid. With 8 races still to go, John Watson leads the World Championship by a comfortable 10 points, but only 9 points separate the next 6. Pironi with 20, Patrese 19, Prost 18, Rosberg 17, Lauda 12, and world champion Nelson Piquet with 11. But, as ever, the question is, will the turbos last? And I remind you, in pole position, René Arnoux, the Frenchman, who has only scored 4 points in the World Championship so far. He's way down in 15th place. Behind him is Nelson Piquet. To the right of your picture, second on the grid is Alain Prost. Fourth behind Alain Prost is Didier Pironi. Behind Nelson Piquet is Niki Lauda. And behind then is Patrick Tambay. Now, there's a drag down to Tarzan, which is a second gear corner, which they take at about 90 miles an hour. Watch for the green. The Dutch Grand Prix is on. Are we going to get a clean start? All is well so far. It is Arnoux leading. It is Pironi coming up well. It's Prost going through. There's Patrick Tambay coming up into about 4th position. And it's the 2 Renaults away, and it looks like it's Alain Prost in the lead. Arnoux second, Pironi third, Tambay in 4th position. So it is turbos first, second, third and 4th. Then it's Niki Lauda in 5th position. Bruno Giacomelli is 6th. John Watson is 7th. And Nelson Piquet is right down in 8th position.
Well, it seemed a pretty slow start for the cars at the front, but they all got moving in the end, and the turbos held their position. See there, Pironi is nibbling very, very close behind the Renault there, tacking up. We'll see it really favours the power of the turbos now. These slow corners, followed by medium-length straights, where they can really get their acceleration going. Coming out, coming down to the second chicane. Field all lined up. But when we get onto the main straights, where the fun goes, a little bit of out-braking there, but there's one of the Williamses just snipping through.
So Arnoux is in 2nd place behind Prost. Niki Lauda is starting to close up on Patrick Tambay. Don't forget, this is Patrick Tambay's first race in the Ferrari. He's in 4th position. It's Pironi now, 1 lap completed, 71 to go. Prost leads into Tarzan, 2nd gear. There is Arnoux behind him. Didier Pironi, the Ferrari handling much better now. It has new front suspension.
Well, Piquet pulled a lot of ground on the Ford engine cars as they went down the straight. There is Nelson Piquet. He made up about 4 places on sheer power, muscle from that turbo engine down the straight. He made a poor start from his 3rd place grid position, but as long as he can keep up round the corners, he's going to gobble up the rest of the normally aspirated cars, possibly on the next lap.
Well, the man to watch at the moment is definitely Didier Pironi. It looks as though Alain Prost is making a bit of a break, clearing some track between himself and his teammate Arnoux, and Pironi now is trying to go through on the inside of Arnoux. Did he do it? Yes, he has. On lap 2, Didier Pironi in the Ferrari is up into 2nd place ahead of René Arnoux. So Renault's 1st and 3rd, Ferrari's 2nd and 4th, because Patrick Tambay, although I didn't see him in the picture, will still be, I think, in 4th position. We'll check in a moment. Look at the gap. Yes, it is still, and Piquet is up into 5th position. Now, the men of the race at the moment then, as they come through to complete lap 2, are definitely Pironi in 2nd place and Piquet in 5th. So it's Prost leading, Pironi 2nd, Arnoux 3rd, Then a long gap, and Piquet is pulling through and passing Tombe and up into 4th position. Tombe 5th. Niki Lauda is in 6th place. Behind Niki Lauda in 7th place is the distinctive Alfa Romeo Bruno Giacomelli. Then it's Watson. The first Williams is Keke Rosberg, the white and green car. And we are looking at Nelson Piquet in 4th place.
Yes, very encouraging for the BMW engineers to see Piquet go right past Tombe's Ferrari, and Lauda is having a go at Tombe, and I think he's got through, but in fact Tombe will have the inside line for the next corner and more power, and sadly for Lauda, his power re-establishes him. This is a problem that Lauda's going to have. I'm sure he could go quicker. The usual problem, Tombe holding him up a bit round the corners. Is Lauda having a nibble? Yes, Lauda's doing down the inside. The camera, unfortunately, is on the wrong car, but Lauda can't make it. He's still bashing away, and of course Giacomelli is nibbling behind him, so it's the usual Ferrari chicane syndrome. Look at him stretch away down the straight. As I was saying about the BMW, that engine just walked past Tombe's Ferrari on the straight, and the BMW engineers must be very pleased with that.
And what an assembly of cars behind Patrick Tombe. There he is, 4th. Now, here are the first 3, and see how Didier Pironi is closing up on the leader, Alain Prost, in the Renault. This is the 4th lap in this 72-lap race, and Pironi, a man who is tipped by a lot of people for world champion this year, is pulling away from Arnoux, is closing up on Prost. But the fastest car on the circuit is Nelson Piquet's Brabham BMW. He was doing 203 miles an hour down the straight yesterday.
Well, although I'm quite sure he's not meaning to, in fact, Patrick Tombe is doing a wonderful job for the Ferrari team and for the other turbo cars, because he seems to be holding up all the normally aspirated cars, which I think would be going a lot better. This enormous lead that the first 3 cars have got, and Piquet now going away from the field. Be interesting if he's catching a little twitch there from Pironi as he put a wheel over the curb on that slippery bit there. But everything seems to be under control. Pironi really going very well indeed. But as I say, Tombe is making sure they've got a nice clear track behind them and nobody to pressure them, because he is definitely holding up the normally aspirated cars, who must be, as usual, bashing their helmets in frustration.
Yes, and Rene Arnoux is by himself in 3rd position as we look at the battle for 1st. Alain Prost, who led the World Championship for some time this year, and now Pironi is going to try and take him as they come down to Tarzan, and he's through. Pironi takes the lead. Well, the man who won at San Marino, Didier Pironi, number 28 in the Ferrari, and who was 2nd at Monaco, 3rd in Detroit, now leads, as many people expected, the Dutch Grand Prix, and we wonder whether the Renaults will suffer from reliability problems. Here's a replay, and you see Pironi come out of the slipstream much better on braking than the Renault, significantly. Takes the right line at the 90-mile-an-hour Tarzan bend, and now it looks to me as though he is already pulling away, and that Alain Prost can do little about it. So Turbo Ferrari leads the 2 Renaults. Well, we are now on lap 7. And with Didier Pironi leading Alain Prost in 2nd place, Arnoux is 3rd, 4th is Nelson Piquet. In 5th position, it is Patrick Tombe, and there he is. 6th is Niki Lauda. 7th is Bruno Giacomelli. 8th is Keke Rosberg, and 9th is Derek Warwick, not 8th. You just saw a flash of the Turbo Tolman there. He was actually fastest in the warm-up until the very, very last stages, when Didier Pironi was a bit... No, Nelson Piquet was a bit quicker, but right at the end of the full warm-up period, Derek Warwick was 2nd fastest, and that's a superb effort. 5 laps then, that's the order, and as you can see, Niki Lauda was in 6th position there. There is Tombe ahead, and again Rosberg is trying to get past Giacomelli. He must be absolutely fuming in the cockpit there, because Giacomelli is doing nothing to help him get by. So Tombe, number 27 in the Ferrari. Niki Lauda.
Yes, Bruno Giacomelli has the ability to be extremely obstructive about being overtaken, and he's a bit of a weaver. Now there's a shot of Laffite's car just wiggling around the front wheels. He's obviously got something fairly terminal. They don't seem to panic. And here we go, Rosberg right all over the track, and he has finally made it through past Giacomelli.
And Patrese through So Giacomelli goes down 2 places, and there is Derek Warwick on the tail of Giacomelli in the Tolman. And on lap 8, it is still in the lead, Pironi. Still in 2nd position, Prost. In 3rd place, Arnoux. In 4th position, Nelson Piquet in the turbo BMW Brabham. Then behind him is Patrick Tambay, and there he is.
Well, Derek Warwick's going through the field like a dose of salts. It's really marvellous. After all their efforts, Tolman have struggled for nearly 2 years now with this car. They've never had a performance like this. It must be really exciting for them, and it's a great sight for us to see. It's very gratifying to see a British team that's had very limited resources doing so well. Be interesting to see now if we've still got a shot when they come onto the straight to see whether the Tolman, the Hart engine turbo that the Tolman uses, is as powerful as these front runner big factory turbo cars, and we'll see if he can get past the group on the straight. He's at the back of this group now, and hopefully we'll have a look at him as the front half of the group go onto the straight. Rosberg's climbing all over the back of Niki Lauda and looks very well placed to pass. But Lauda, of course, being in the front, is able to stay in the Ferrari's slipstream, which will help his speed down the straight, whereas Rosberg's got clean air. So they're absolutely side by side. Rosberg has just nipped in front, looked very much on the limit under braking, but he's obviously in real charging mood. Rosberg's driving a very good and aggressive race.
There is Derek Warwick. That was his Tolman in the pits. And it looks as though his race is run, and we still see this terrific scrap between number 27, Patrick Tambay, the 33-year-old man from Cannes, in 5th position, and Keke Rosberg from Helsinki, although he lives in Monaco, in the Williams, trying to get up past the Ferrari. And as James has said, it is one thing getting to it, it's another thing getting past it.
But he's perfectly placed this time, Murray. He's right behind the Ferrari. He wants to stay behind it and just get sucked along and then nip out at when they get to the braking point. He should be able to outbrake the Ferrari, but Tambay is a hard man to pass. We saw him brake. There goes Rosberg. He's got the inside. He's done it this time. He's just got his nose in front. He's inside Tambay, and he's got the twisty section of the track in front of him, so he should be able to get enough air between him and the Ferrari not to be gobbled up next time they hit the long straight. He's absolutely flying around here now. The Ferrari, I noticed, was particularly slow around this Hunsrück first gear corner they're in. Yes, Rosberg drawing away, and he looks definitely as if he's going to have enough space to stay in front when they hit the straight. Lauda is struggling to hold on a little bit. I think Tambay's got a little bit quicker, settled into his stride, but Rosberg is certainly flying. It'll be interesting to see what lap time. Here we see him again, just nipping out, normal, conventional overtaking manoeuvre, towed up behind the Ferrari. Just before the braking area nipped out, gave himself a clear sight. Look at the car bouncing. You see how bumpy it is on these solid suspension. Just the tyres working as springs, really. The car's just bouncing on its big tyres. Rosberg really bouncing.
Lap 14. Pironi now just 5 seconds ahead of Prost, Arnoux, Piquet. That's the battle for 3rd that we're looking at now. Keke Rosberg ahead of Tambay, who is 6th. Lauda 7th. Bruno Giacomelli 8th. Daly 9th. Watson 10th. De Cesaris 11th, De Angelis 12th, Michele Alboreto 13th, Baldi 14th, and Chico Serra in 15th place. And by the way, 2 or 3 of the teams have got a new Demon Pirelli tyre, which helped Derek Warwick on his way. And now, Piquet is right up with Arnoux. And we've noticed race after race recently that the Renaults do start to wilt and the BMWs don't.
Yes, I think Piquet may have a little problem with the turbo lag there. He seems to lose ground in the middle of that corner just when you'd be going onto the power, but he's close enough. And with the power he showed when he went past Tambay's car, he's beautifully placed. And as I say, it looks like he's got a straight line speed advantage. But he's got the wrong side of the corner, but he's through and clear, so he's okay. So that BMW is really putting out plenty of power. That's most impressive that he's been able to get comfortably past both the Turbo Renault and the Turbo Ferrari. So Piquet up into 3rd place.
Pironi leading. And when you see the front of the Ferrari, for those of you who are technically interested, and here he is coming through to complete his 20th lap, have a look at the suspension, because it is the new pull rod suspension of the type that is used by Tyrrell and by 1 or 2 other manufacturers, and it has significantly improved the handling of the Ferrari. Now, there is Prost in 2nd place, and the gap between Prost and Piquet is now only 4 seconds. So once again, it looks as though the Renaults have flattered to deceive a bit, although they are in second and fourth places, but we do expect so much from them after their inevitable and quite usual scintillating performances in practice. But Ferrari seem to have got the mixture literally right and better than the Renaults. The Ferraris have got water injection in their engines, which makes them run cooler and produces more power. There is Prost second, and there behind him you saw Nelson Piquet. Lap 21 out of 72, Alain Prost second. Keep looking in the picture for Nelson Piquet, although they are staying with the Frenchman. You'll see Piquet now, there he is, and all the time he's getting just a tiny bit closer. There's the Brazilian, the reigning world champion, Nelson Piquet, third.
Yes, the Renaults have really had what for them one has to describe as a dreadful season. They've shown the best form in qualifying. They've got the fastest chassis engine combination. Alain Prost has driven particularly well. He's a very, very mature driver, one of the very best in the business now, and they've broken down an awful lot, which after their whoops, and there's a wheel flying about. I can't see a car, so somebody has crashed there. There goes the thing. It looked like quite a bit, oh, it's a terrible big shot, and it looks like one of the Renaults. As the driver's moving around inside.
It's René Arnoux, I'm almost certain. Yes, it's René Arnoux, and you can see that he's still in the cockpit.
Yes, he's gone straight on at the end of the straight. Whether he lost his brakes, locked them up or anything, we just can't tell. And looking down, I can't see the end of the straight from our commentary position. See if there are any big black marks on the road.
There's the replay. It's Tarzan corner, and Arnoux, off comes the wheel, and Arnoux did exactly what Derek Daly did a couple of years ago, ploughed into the barrier at the end of the straight.
Well, that wheel seems to be off before he hit anything, so it looks to me as if a wheel fell off the car, possibly and probably causing the accident. Couldn't see quite enough from that action replay to see he may just have hit something first and attached the wheel, but they're having a bit of a struggle to get him out. I think the front of the car is pretty flat, and he appeared to go in head-on. He's nearly mounted the barrier. You have to remember that the car is doing something like 190 miles an hour when he's coming into the braking area, so that's a very heavy shunt indeed. The sand in front of it.
Well, poor René Arnoux, his helmet is off. He is obviously in considerable pain from the expression on his face. Thankfully, the medical facilities here at Zandvoort are absolutely first class. And look at that. Nelson Piquet is ahead of Alain Prost as we rejoin. We've been watching this and wondering when the pictures are going to come back to this battle, and now there is the excitement on lap 31 out of 72, coming up to the half distance. Nelson Piquet, the brilliant 29-year-old Brazilian from Brasilia, who lives in Monaco, and this is his 56th Grand Prix, has fought his way up through the field and has now displaced Alain Prost, moved up into second position. There is the Frenchman in the Renault in the background, and so Prost is now third. Rosberg is now in fourth position. Now we have good news, and that is that René Arnoux has got no broken bones. We have got this news from the Renault pit, and after crashing out of the race at over 190 miles an hour, when his wheel came off, René Arnoux is apparently okay, and very, very good news indeed. And that looks like Andre de Cesaris. Yes, it is Andre de Cesaris in the pits. That's a Renault going very slowly indeed. It's Prost. Prost coming into the pits. It has happened again. Arnoux has gone out through no fault of his, I think. But Alain Prost is coming into the pits. So once again, and this is getting far too frequent, we think, the Renaults have done magnificently in practice, only to fail in the race. And now, Lauda is going to try and go through and take Patrick Tambay, who is fourth.
Well, so close, so near, but yet so far. He very, very nearly got inside Tombe. Tombe sliding about, twitching out of the corner.
There is Nelson Piquet in second position. He has now completed 37 laps, and he chases unavailingly at the moment Didier Pironi in the Ferrari.
Well, we can't see it on the screen, but Lauda was definitely inside, and there he is through. I saw him as they went past the pits. He was closer than ever before. He's overtaken at the right moment. He's now got a whole lap to put enough air between him, and he's just streaking away from Tombe. So now we've got to see if Lauda can set about catching Rosberg, who's got, something like 14 seconds lead over him.
Yes, John Watson has driven past and underneath our commentary position, and there is the confirmation of it with a very lumpy sounding engine. So there is Nelson Piquet, lap 43, second position behind Pironi. In third position is Keke Rosberg still. In fourth place is Niki Lauda. Then in fifth place now, we haven't seen it on the picture, but Derek Daly has moved ahead of Tombe, who goes down to sixth position, and into the pits comes Jan Lammers, who, as I said, was overjoyed to have qualified for his home Grand Prix. And look at that near side front tyre. Look how blistered it is. The left side front tyre here in Holland and Zandvoort takes a terrific pounding. Michele Alboreto, who many people thought might be offered a place in the Ferrari team after Gilles Villeneuve's tragic death, but Enzo Ferrari himself is very, very cautious about appointing. There goes, I was going to say there goes Pironi past Alboreto, but he doesn't. But now Alboreto is ahead of Tombe, and so has Pironi lapped his teammate. So it is now on lap 47, Pironi leading, Piquet second, Rosberg third, Lauda fourth, Daly fifth, and up into sixth position has gone Alboreto. There is the race leader on his 70th out of 72 laps. In fourth position it is Niki Lauda, who is now some 45 seconds in fourth place behind Rosberg. In fifth position it is Derek Daly, who is a lap adrift behind Pironi. Sixth is Alboreto, seventh is Baldi, eighth is Tombe, ninth is Sura, 10th is Giacomelli, 11th is Winkelhock, 12th is Salazar. 13th, the World Championship leader, John Watson, well out of the points. 14th, Jarier, and 15th, Riccardo Patrese, the teammate of Nelson Piquet here. Well, it's not a question of who's going to win, provided Pironi keeps going. It is rather a question of who is going to be second. There's Rosberg in the background. I don't see how Rosberg can possibly catch the Brazilian. And there is Alboreto off, and the gap is now 4.2 seconds as Piquet comes up to Alboreto now. Is Alboreto going to balk him and give Rosberg a chance? No. Yes, he's still not got past. And see how his right rear tyre is smoking.
Yes, Alboreto's got a puncture or something on that tyre. He spun. He was trying to make an overtaking manoeuvre at the end of the straight. He spun a bit, but Piquet has managed to get through. Very frustrating for him. And I would think Alboreto, if he knows there's something wrong, would be well advised to stop, because it looks as if that tyre might be ready to fall apart in a minute or something. And so Alboreto, well, it could be, or could it be oil leaking under the car onto the exhaust and then possibly onto the tyre?
And you can see that Rosberg has really grasped his opportunity there. This is lap 71 out of 72. Here is the race leader, Didier Pironi, going through to start his last lap. He is on his last lap. Now, what about Piquet in second place and Rosberg? The fact that Rosberg got past Alboreto and that Alboreto held Piquet up for so long has enabled the Finnish driver in the Williams, Keke Rosberg, to close right up on the second place man, Nelson Piquet, and the gap now is 1.2 seconds. It is on the last lap. We are concentrating from a picture point of view on Didier Pironi, and it looks as though it is going to be the worst possible result from the point of view of the World Championship leader, John Watson, who is in 12th place, right out of the World Championship points position. He was 10 points ahead of this man, number 28, who is on his way to win the Dutch Grand Prix, Didier Pironi. Pironi will get 9 points for his victory, and that means to say that he will be just 1 point behind the World Championship leader, John Watson, who will still be in that position for the next Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix of Brands Hatch. And what a wonderful prospect that is. Didier Pironi then, almost home. He's got to win now. He could kick out the clutch and coast home to victory. There are the Ferrari mechanics. Didier Pironi has won his second Grand Prix of 1982, having won at San Marino, and he's now into second place in the World Championship, 1 point behind John Watson. But what about second place? Are we going to see the battle between Nelson Piquet? Yes, there it is. You can see Nelson Piquet. He finishes in second place, and he finishes, according to my stopwatch, 7/10 of a second ahead of a brilliantly hard-charging Keke Rosberg, who is therefore in third position. So, the Dutch Grand Prix ends with the second win for Didier Pironi this year, with Nelson Piquet in second place, Keke Rosberg third, Niki Lauda fourth, Derek Daly fifth and lapped, and Mauro Baldi on the last lap took sixth position away from Michele Alboreto. And that, of course, makes a big difference to the World Championship situation, because now John Watson is only 1 point ahead of Didier Pironi, who is 8 points ahead of Keke Rosberg, who is 2 points ahead of the fourth place man Riccardo Patrese. Then 1 point to the fifth place man Alain Prost, and another one to the sixth place man Nelson Piquet, which means to say that the battle for World Championship points at the British Grand Prix of Brands Hatch in 2 weeks' time is going to be all the more exciting.
The Ferrari looks very good. I mean, it's not only quick, it's reliable, which is a shame because we expect the turbos to break down more often. But Brands is a difficult circuit as well, and I hope it will favor our cars. Certainly at Brands it's a handling circuit, and I think that our cars generally are better handling than the Ferrari. But the reliability and the power of the car certainly is very impressive now.
John, what about Brands Hatch as far as Watson is concerned?
Well, I like the circuit very much. I've always enjoyed racing on it, and it is my home Grand Prix, and if I can get the support from the public like I had last year at Silverstone, when they helped me win, I believe, then maybe I can have another victory in the British Grand Prix.
Well, naturally, we all hope so. Commiserations on today, and good luck for Brands.
Thank you.